when you do the hourly, if you're making $15 an hour, hang it up. Like, the whole point of this is to make a certain amount of money that you could never make working a job. If you're doing it as a side thing that you're just doing for fun, then this video is not really for you, because you don't really have an event business. You have an event. I'm Kiko Lee. I am the owner of the B-List Group. My business was started in March of 2020 when the pandemic happened, and over the years it's evolved, and I was full-time for about 3 years. I did stop to try to dabble with working in corporate with what I thought was an event department, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I'm in the process of rebranding, and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to actually document everything that I'm going through, because it is a little challenging. I feel like it's definitely been like an emotional roller coaster the past year, just because I know what direction I want to go in with my business. I'm just in the process of navigating how to get there effectively without tanking my business, but it is hard because at the end of the day, financially I do rely on my business. Unlike most people, I was doing entrepreneurship full-time for a while, and I say most people because a lot of people have event businesses. They do hair, makeup, whatever, but they do it on the side, starting out for the most part. But I was doing it full time for about 3 years, and then now I'm like kind of like stuck. I'm in a rut, I would call it, just to give you a little hindsight before I get started with this specific video. I feel like my work-life balance when it came to the event business really started to take a toll on me mentally, emotionally, and I feel like relationship wise as well, not just with platonic relationships, of course, but just relationships in general. I feel like it's taken like a major hit, and I think overall my mental state really took a toll from my business, which a lot of people don't talk about enough when it comes to entrepreneurship. They make it seem like it's majority glamorous, but I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, and I feel like sharing the steps that I'm taking with you guys will also help me redirect myself and my own business to the direction that I want to go in. So this video specifically is going to be about starting an event business overall. So I want to go over the different steps that you need to take to really creating a successful event business. And this is coming from someone who actually has an event business. No shade, but a little shade. This is coming from me, who I actually have an event business. I rely on my business to pay my bills for my livelihood. So I feel like what I'm saying is coming from a genuine place. This is not just research online. This is like actual experience. So this is, keep that in mind when I'm speaking from experience, not research. And I feel like because of the social media era of entrepreneurship and everybody just kind of talking at the side of their neck a little bit just because they have the platform to do so, I feel like people just research things for a portion of time and they don't actually try it, and they give you advice as if they did. So take this as advice from someone who actually has lived off of an event business, and I am still currently living off of an event business. Starting off strong is to niche down. I know people say this usually when it comes to like for YouTube and social media, but niching down in the event business is a really big deal, because starting out I was trying to do everything. I did, this gives me like PTSD thinking of it again. So starting out, I was doing the planning aspect of it. So if you are an event or you're looking to do events, you have to understand that when you're an event planner, you actually use vendors. You usually don't do all of the work of the event. Sometimes people do. It's not for me, but I thought it was. So I was doing the planning. I was doing the balloon decor, of course. I was doing the designing, which is easy because that's more like on the back end of things. So that's not bad. But I was doing the event planning, the designing, the balloon decor. I was doing treats. I was doing cupcake toppers, cake toppers. I was doing custom items, cups, whatever. And I think that it was good for me because it taught me a lot of what I didn't want to do. The reason why I didn't want to do treats is because I realized it took too much prep time, so I cut that out. The reason why I didn't want to do cupcake toppers and custom items was because I had to rely on my Cricut a lot, and me and that Cricut have a very, like, whose relationship could I compare that to? I would say like Bobby Whitney. Yeah. It's like I like it, but then it's like the more I can avoid it and not use it, that's better for me. So I realized I didn't want to rely on the Cricut, because if my Cricut breaks and I'm making something for my kids, it's like, okay, well, you're just not getting it, or that's just not going to be included in the party. But when I'm doing it for an actual client that paid, I have an obligation to rely on the Cricut, and I don't like it. So that was the reason why I didn't do that. When it came to florals, at the time, I didn't like florals because of the prep, and mainly the prep. The prep was so, like, I don't even know how to explain it. What's the word I could use? I'm a little Esau. You'll realize that throughout me speaking. I don't know. When it comes to florals, I just feel like the prep and work that goes into that. When people charge you for florals, pay them people. Do not try to do it yourself. Unless it's something simple, but for the most part, just pay them people their money. It's not worth it. So I was trying to do florals. So that's already 4 things that I was trying to do. I'm sure there was other things that I can't think of. I can't remember now, but there was a lot. So in addition to doing the balloon decor, I was also making the mosaic balloon letters, the marquee letters, everything you could think of. I was trying to do like photo shoot setups and have inventory for that. Like, it was a mess. I told you it gives me PTSD. And that's what it was bringing back up to me. So the reason why I say to niche down is because by trying different things and doing a lot of different things, you will quickly realize what's for you and what's not for you. Initially, when I started out, balloons was not the top of my list. And the more I tried it and the more I did it, balloons became like my overall scope. So now I feel like my identity is wrapped in a balloon artist. And that's okay with me. I'm at peace with that, because I really like doing balloon decor, and it's something that I feel comfortable in. It's something that matches my lifestyle, and I really like it. So the reason why I started to lean more towards balloon decor was because of the process of it. So when it came to like the prep time, I liked that I could prep things like a week in advance. I liked that I could get inventory of things and keep a big inventory for extended periods of time. And it's like balloons don't really expire if you keep them in the right environment. So I really liked that. I liked the price point of balloons, because as I go through this whole business series, because that's what I'm going to call this, as I go through the whole business series, you'll realize why I say certain things like that. I just don't want to get too deep into it, because then that's like a whole nother tangent. But yeah, so I liked the price ratio for it. Like, I liked that I could have like one balloon job be $3,000, and I just go make $3,000 from one event. I liked that I could do multiple in one day, so I could have like 3 $500 events or 3 $700 events, and I really liked that. I liked that I didn't need to rely on like things like a fridge, so that's something that turned me off with treats, was the whole situation with like the fridge, the temperature. I live in Miami, so it's extremely hot. So thinking of like transporting treats, just like, it was just a lot. And I'm glad I tried it, because it helped me quickly realize what I didn't want to do. So I would say step 1 would definitely be to niche down and figure out what you do like and what you don't like, and why you don't like those things. But I feel like it's very important to try it for yourself. Just don't go based off of what everybody else does and what you think makes a lot of money, because a lot of times things do make money. Like prop rentals make a lot of money, but they also cost a lot to store. They cost a lot to get made. It costs a lot to maintain. It's a liability. If I go to balloon somewhere and I don't want to go back and pick them up. I usually don't if they don't pay for breakdown. I don't have to. It doesn't really affect me. I don't need the balloons back. But it's like my backdrops, I'm going to go get my stuff. So it's like you just always have to be there. I don't like it. That was something that turned me off with the prop rentals. So I kept it to, if you're getting back balloons from me, then you can get backdrops and stuff from me, but I don't rent out my props. I would call them backdrops if you're not getting balloon decor from me. So moving on to number 2, I'm using an iPad, bro. That's why I'm like continuously looking down. Number 2 would be services within your niche. So for example, I'm a balloon artist, but I offer different things within that. So you want to research the market of whichever niche that you choose, because what that will help you do is realize the services that you're able to master and like nurture to grow. So for me as a balloon artist, even though I don't just do balloon decor. Under balloons, I can also offer backdrops. I offer marquee letters. I offer mosaics. I offer obviously regular balloon decor, and I do offer florals if it has something to do with the balloon. So that's another video. But and I'm gonna keep saying that a lot because I don't want it to be like too drawn out. But when it comes to balloons, there's a lot of different services within balloons that I was able to tap into and master. So I really liked that about the niche that I chose. Next, you have to consider the lifestyle that comes with whatever you choose. So if you want to choose something like prop rental, like I mentioned before, you have to go back and pick up your stuff. You have to paint and prep your stuff. You have to maintain your stuff. You have to keep them in a certain environment. For balloons, understand that you are going to work on the weekends. With events in general, you're going to work on the weekends, which is not terrible because you don't work during the week. Usually, sometimes I do. And I actually like working during the week a lot when it comes to events, because I'm able to charge less, like what I call a weekday rate, because I don't have multiple events to go to. So I do like working events during the week sometimes, but for the most part, you are going to work events on the weekend. Consider the fact that when it comes to balloons, you actually have to always go to the setup. If you do something like treats or favors or something like that, you can always have everybody pick up stuff and then you won't work on the weekends. So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to the event business that you'll realize as you go through it. And I probably would do like maybe like a Q&A or a live. I'll pick, I don't know, or you guys can pick, where I kind of go through the different niches within the event business, because there's so many that I feel like people don't know about. But because I've been in the industry for 3 years, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I feel like it is a lot. So yes, 3 years. It's going on 4 obviously, but I feel like there's a lot that people don't know that you can tap into that I can tell you about, because the event business is very lucrative and it is a lot of money, but you have to know what works for you and your lifestyle and your mental capacity. Okay, so next would definitely be to time out everything and compare it to how much you make. So like I spoke about earlier, that I said I would talk about in another video, but I guess I put it on here to touch point on. Mind you, keep in mind, this is like my first time getting back into YouTube, so I'm gonna be all over the place a little bit, and I rant, so I was probably ranting and didn't realize that was a bullet point, so whatever. So yeah, so I would say the number one thing that helped me realize how to niche down and decide what I want to do within the event business was to actually time out everything I did. So when I timed out everything, I would time how long it took me to blow up a certain amount of balloons, how long it took me to deliver balloons, to set up balloons, how long it took me to unload. I have a time frame for everything, and what that helped me do was realize how much I was really making hourly, because a lot of people in events think they're making money and they're actually not. When you take into account how much you're spending on materials, time, I would say energy, as well as prep and the actual like setup and breakdown, when you do the hourly, if you're making $15 an hour, hang it up. Like the whole point of this is to make a certain amount of money that you could never make working a job. If you're doing it as a side thing that you're just doing for fun, then this video is not really for you, because you don't really have an event business. You have an event, I would say, like hobby that you occasionally get paid for. I'm talking to people who are like, this is your, like, you want this to be your livelihood and you want this to be like your thing, your business. So definitely time out everything. Definitely for the first couple months, I would say try to do it for a year. I didn't know this until like the second year. Really price out everything that you're paying for. Keep track of everything you're paying for, because it will help you quickly realize if your business is profitable or not. And that's like a number one mistake that you'll hear me talk about a lot, because people don't do it. They think, oh, well, I made $1,000 off this balloon job. Well, how much did you pay for people to help you prep? How much did you pay for the people to come and help you set up? How much did you pay to actually transport the stuff? Did you get a U-Haul? Did you have your own trailer? Whatever. How much did it cost you to actually, not even cost you, but like how much time does it actually take you? So when you do all those things, if you're not making over a certain dollar amount an hour, you got to reevaluate your business. You got to reevaluate what you're offering, your clientele, a lot of things. So that's why it's very important to do that and to get that number it's stacked immediately. So all of that would be to say that's how you determine what services you feel like is worth offering within your niche. Okay. The next step I would say to be is to build your portfolio before you actually get clients. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to do that. Number 1, offer services to people in exchange for them buying the materials and you actually doing the service for free. So when I started out, what I would do was I would tell people, hey, if you buy the balloons, if you buy whatever I need to do the event or to do the setup, whatever it is, I can do the service for free. And in return, I would get good pictures and I would get good practice, and I didn't actually have to spend any of my money to do that. So that's like my top suggestion every time. Number 2 would be obviously just mock setups. Buy your own materials. Go outside in your neighborhood, in your backyard, wherever you can, and just set something up and just take pictures of it. Just make sure you can get good pictures, because at the end of the day, your portfolio is everything. If you don't have a portfolio, you're not going to be able to get the kind of clientele that you want. The people that will book you without even seeing a photo of anything you've done for them, that's a red flag. And you don't want those kind of clientele. You want the kind of clientele that wants to see that you have a portfolio. They want to see what kind of work you've done in the past, so they have an expectation of what you can do for them. Number 3 would be to actually do it yourself, but instead offer businesses and just different locations where you're able to get like a really good shot. Like for instance, let's say you go downtown and there's like a really cute Nike store and you want to do balloons for Nike. 9 times out of 10, they will tell you, yes, you can do it. You probably just have to sign some waiver or something. I don't know how it works for Nike. I'm just using that as an example because I'm just obsessed with Nike in general. So with something like that, you would just go to them and be like, hey, I'm a balloon artist. I am upcoming and I would love to do balloons for your store. Do you guys have a specific event that you have coming up that you would like balloons for? If not, I can just do it with any theme that you guys have going on in the store right now for completely free of charge. The only exchange that I ask is that I'm able to take pictures of the work. So continuing on with how to build your portfolio before you get clientele would be to understand how to take inspiration from things without actually copying. This is a touchy one. So when it comes to balloon art, you're gonna have people that come to you and they're like, hey, I want this exact thing just like this person did, and it's gonna be another balloon artist. In this industry, it's inevitable that people will copy you and they will bite your style a little bit, and that's okay. It's not that deep. It's never been that deep. I understand when you're copying an exact event, like start to finish, it can be frustrating for the person that designed it And I get that because they put a lot of thought into effort into it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you don't want people to copy your stuff, keep it to yourself. Okay? Keep it right here in your heart. Don't post it. Don't take pictures of it. Don't do anything with it because it is inevitable. So the best thing I can tell you is there is a way to get inspiration from people without copying them. And the way you do that is, if you're a beginner when it comes to the event industry and designing things, the best way you can do that is to look up multiple events of the same theme that you would like to do, right? So let's say you want to do a Barbie party. Let's not just find one Barbie party that you're gonna pull inspiration from, because then at that point you're copying, right? Because you're gonna do everything the same way they did. But if you could find maybe 10 different Barbie parties and pull different things that you like from it and tweak it however way you like to, that's how you get inspiration. And getting inspiration versus being a copycat is going to allow you to build your portfolio in a way that people will trust you. Number 3 in this segment, but which would be the last one, I'm all over the place with these numbers. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get better progressively. Just be patient with me, okay? Keep track. I'll try to put like little numbers on the screen so you can understand what the hell I'm talking about. Number 3 in this section would definitely be to go all out whenever you can. So what I mean by that is whenever you have the opportunity where maybe you blew up too many balloons, maybe you have a lot of balloons left over, maybe you have a lot of time left over, maybe the client is just nice as hell, make sure that you comfortably are in a space where you can go above and beyond, because all it's going to do is elevate your work and elevate your portfolio. The only thing I would say is you have to make sure and communicate to these people why they got what they got. Because then what happens is they expect to get that level of extraness every time when they're paying you the basic not the bare minimum, but the basic rate. So I always like to reiterate to the client why I gave them extra or why they got what they did. Some of them just like, hey, I had extra balloons, so I gave you extra. Hey, I had extra time, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more to it just to make it look nicer. And that way they understand that that was not included in the price. It was happenstance of luck that you were just in a good mood and you felt a little comfortable to add a little shink-the-dink. But let them know, please, or you'll regret it. So the next would be social media marketing. So of course this is common sense. Utilize social media to promote your business. This is free, but this is piggybacking off of why you need to build your portfolio, because if you don't have anything to post on social media, what are you posting? Don't be those people posting the Canva like things of like book your balloons, but it's like, where are your balloons? Let me see your balloons. People would rather you have 4 pictures of balloons, like balloon art, like 4 different balloon setups, versus you being one of those people that are like, oh, this is like, what is it when they put like the offer things in the Canva, like the word? Don't do that. Like sale, so don't do that, because what can they see? So don't do that. So I would say the best way to do that is to, obviously, when you're building a portfolio, get really good pictures, get really good photos. That's why it's important to go above and beyond when you have the time and when it can benefit you, because all of these photos on social media will help you optimize your business using hashtags, like saying whatever city you're in. Like I'm in Miami, so I do Miami balloons, South Florida balloons, Fort Lauderdale balloons. Sometimes I do like Miramar, but not really. I just kind of stick to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. That way people can find you. You'll be surprised how many people actually use hashtags, because it's one thing to be popular on social media, but understanding that you can't have a service-based business and just be popular on social media and actually succeed is important, because you need to have these people in your range where you can actually service them. service-based business. When you have a product-based business, that has nothing to do with you. You can be anywhere in the world. They could be anywhere in the world. But it's really important to optimize using hashtags, tagging locations, and things like that. So the next step, I would say, within that section would definitely be to network and communicate with different vendors and planners within your area. So there are specific planners that I like to work with and I like to stick to. But obviously I do deviate outside of that, right? But for me, one of the things that I did that I feel like really hooked certain event planners to me specifically was punctuality. Making sure that whenever I'm working for a planner that I know I want to continue working for, I'm on time. If I'm late, I'm giving you a rundown of exactly what happened. I'm telling you why I'm late, etc. Number 2, going above and beyond for them. So this you have to tread lightly with, and you can't do this for everybody because people take advantage. When you have a planner that went all out on an event and the event is just like hitting, like it's that's when you want to go above and beyond, because I feel like you're going to get something out of it. When you have a planner that paid for a photographer to come, videographer come, you could give her a little extra shink-dink on the balloon decor. You can give her a little extra on the florals. You can give her a little extra on anything, because at the end of the day, it's going to boost your portfolio. Obviously, communicate to them like you would communicate with any other client, telling them why they got more so they understand the price point. But definitely going above and beyond when you can for them, it works. Number 3, being available. So understand that when it comes to, and I'm using the example of balloons because it's just my experience, right? So for example, when it comes to balloons, I try to always be available to planners. So if a planner hits me up, I'm not going to cancel on people. I don't cancel on people. That's not a thing for me. I don't cancel, but if a planner asks me to do something, I do prioritize them over everything, because at the end of the day, these are people that are consistently booked, and these are people that can consistently put money in your pocket. So if you're a planner's balloon artist, you're off rip going to be making more money. You're going to be able to maximize your growth potential way faster, because you don't even need to find the clients, because they get the clients, they deal with the quote, they deal with everything. Same thing with if you're going to be a florist, to do treats, anything like that. Make sure when you're working for planners and other vendors, you're on your shiznit, because that's important. It's very important. So making sure you're networking and keeping a positive rapport with other vendors in your area is very, very important. I have balloon vendors that sometimes they can't do it, so they pass it off to me. I have backdrop vendors who don't do balloons, so they automatically come to me. Network yourself and be somebody that is a team player, because even though you do work for yourself, events are always going to be a team. If you could do a whole event by yourself, kudos to you. But if it's not the size of a small room, honey, you're going to need a vendor or 2 or maybe 3. I've worked events with like 15 vendors. So don't be that girl or guy. Don't be that person. So the next thing I would say to do is optimize your visibility. So when I say that, what I'm referring to is like content. So when you're going to these events or you're practicing, you're setting up anything, make sure you're filming content. It's very annoying, but the number one thing I could say is to make sure you have the right materials to be able to do your job effectively and to get content effectively, right? So because I have like the right tripod, because I have the right camera, because I have the right things, I don't have to rely on other people getting certain things for me. So for instance, I have a Canon T8i Rebel, whatever it is, I think, yes, that's what it is, that I bring with me to events. If I see they don't have a photographer, they didn't get a photographer, I take out my camera and I start clicking away. Obviously, you're not going to get like the full like event aspect of like people actually enjoying the event, but you are still going to be able to get your decor, and that's what matters. So optimizing your visibility by doing reels, by doing TikToks, by doing anything. I had an event yesterday where the client spent a lot Like when I say a lot of money. And it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I insert like a little clip or picture here. It was gorgeous. And they found the planner, Nikki, from TikTok. So it's like, you'll be surprised. And the client is from like Fort Pierce or something, but she found her on TikTok and she wanted to have her event in Miami. So she ended up hitting up Nikki. Nikki hit me up. Circle of life and money. So understand why you need to optimize your visibility, because you may think you're not getting a lot of views on TikTok. You may think you're not getting a lot of like traction on your social media. Whole time people are watching you, saving you for things. So understand the power of social media, and it's free, so there's no excuse. Just buy some little gadgets to go with it. And that's a good video idea too, so I'm gonna write that down. Gadgets and like tools I use when I'm setting up to create content. So step 5, intro pricing. Clearly communicating to people what this is and why your prices are the way they are will save you from a lot of headache. So starting out, your prices are obviously going to be lower because you need the clientele, you need the hype, you need to get there first before you start charging the big bucks, right? So what you want to do is have set pricing that you refer to as your intro pricing. So this is going to be your pricing that when you communicate it to people, you're like, hey, this is my current rate, but please do understand that this is the intro rate. I am like, you don't have to tell them you're just starting out, just tell them that this is introductory pricing. And because of that, in the future, these prices will increase, but this is the special and rate that I'm able to give to you. Communicating these things on invoices, on contracts, all that, elite, okay? If I had that understanding, I wouldn't have done dumb stuff like put pricing of intro pricing stuff on my page and then never delete it. Because people would send it to me and be like, you were doing mosaics, 5-foot mosaics for $75. And then now they're $200. So people were looking at me like, girl. But it's like, that was my intro pricing. So understanding that you need to communicate that you have intro pricing and why it's important to communicate those things will save you headache in the long run. And it will also save you clientele. Either people are going to pay it and feel like, you know, not mind paying you that pricing in the future, like the upgraded pricing, or they're not going to want to. It's up to you, your choice. But communicating it from the start is the best way to salvage relationships and salvage people's perception of you and your business, because that is important. And these people are going to refer you. These people are going to be the ones to bring you more clientele. So you don't want to be in a position where people feel like you're being shady with them when it comes to your pricing. The next would be to figure out an hourly rate that you feel comfortable starting out at and the rate that you want to go up to. So previously I explained how to get that rate, which is to take into account how much you spent on the materials and time yourself for how long it took you to prep to do the setup. Say you're doing one balloon garland and you prepped for an hour, you transported for 30 minutes, and then you set up for an hour, and then you broke down for 30 minutes, right? That would be 3 hours. So if you charged $350 for a balloon garland, right, and the materials were $50, you made $300 after everything. And that's probably not the case, but I'm just giving you this for a scenario, right? If you want to take out that you spent gas and stuff, that would change the price. I'm just going to do materials, right? Because you always want to charge a delivery fee separate because of things like this. So if my balloon garland was $350 and it was $50 for the materials, I'm left over with $300. If it took me an hour to prep, 30 minutes to transport it, an hour to set it up, and 30 minutes to break it down, that's 3 hours total, right? If you do 3 divided by 300, or 300 divided by 3, I don't know how to say it, you'll realize you made an hourly rate of $100 an hour, which is really, really good. So understanding what hourly rate you want to start at and what hourly rate you want to go up to will give you the opportunity to effectively price your services correctly. And I'm so smart. I know. It's okay. I understand. I'm literally saving you an entire year of, not even year, probably multiple years of stress and headache for free. Just free. Just like and subscribe. That's all you have to do. Like, subscribe, maybe buy. I do have tutorials that I do. They're like online Zoom workshops that will be going away very soon that are linked in my bio, but all this is free game. Okay? So, number 6, step 6. This one is the biggest headache. If I could just shake you guys when you say this as step 1, it's like I just want to strangle people. Make your business legal. You shouldn't have done this as step 1. This should have been exactly where it is. Step 6. Or I think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? The reason for this is because you need to figure out, 1, is your business profitable? 2, what niche do you even want to do within your business? 3, are you even going to be able to actually build clientele and all that? Figure out all of these things. Like, do steps 1 through 5 before you get to 6, and then worry about it after. You don't need an LLC to go practice balloons. Like, you don't. At this point, I feel like when people do that, it's solely because they are stuck in the prepping mindset and the before phase. Because the before phase is very easy. The planning phase of businesses is very easy. Because all you're doing is writing out cute little stuff and little names, getting a logo. Why do you have a logo? You don't need a logo. You need to go on Canva and create a free logo, because it's going to change about 7 times. You didn't even pick your niche. You understand where I'm going with this? So number 6 would be to become legal. Okay? Name your business. Give your business a name that you can grow with. So my business name is the B-List Group. I am thinking of changing that just because I do want to go more into a solo business. Not even a solo business. I just don't want it to sound like a company. I want to sound like an individual, which I will go over in the rebranding video. But yeah, so my business name was the B-List Group, right? So the B-E-E, yes, list group, right? That was super easy to evolve and change with, because it was never like anything. It never had balloons in it. It never had florals in it. It never had treats in it, right? When you do that and you box yourself in, you feel like a certain sense of like obligation to stay within that niche, whether you like it or not. And that would jack you up. So what you need to do is make sure you are picking a name that you can grow with. Let's leave the Z's and the misspelling. Let's leave all of that in 2015. Let's leave all of it there. And let's never go back to it, okay? If your name is something with balloons in it, we don't need the Z. The S is okay. You don't need the Z. We can leave it as S and keep it going, because you want to attract a certain kind of clientele. You want to attract a certain kind of branding to your business, and it's very hard to have certain branding styles with Z's and misspelling for normal words in your logo name. So let's leave that right where it was. I know your auntie's business is like that, and you could tell auntie she could change it. Step 7, training and courses. So pay attention to the stack that I'm doing here, right? Notice I didn't tell you to go pay for a course or a training as step 2 or step 1. I'm saying it as number 7, because you need to learn as much as you can for free, practice as much as you can for free, and then pay for something. Don't go invest $800 to learn how to do balloons when you don't even know if balloons is actually going to be your niche. Let's figure some stuff out first, Let's figure out the style you want to go with. Let's figure out who you want to be as a balloon artist, as a floralist, whatever, as a cake decorator, all of that. Like, for instance, I'm going to use a different example other than balloons. If you want to do cakes, right, that's something that's in the event industry that I will never touch. Okay, it's not my business. No, ma'am. Okay, I don't touch those. But let's say you do cakes, right? When it comes to cakes, you can practice yourself. You can do the cakes. You can try fondant style cakes. You can try buttercream style cakes, right? Let's say you go take a class for $1,500 to learn how to do fondant, and you realize, I like buttercream and doing like cupcakes and treats and things like that. What did you just spend all that money for on that course? Exactly. Because you didn't even know if you liked it. So making sure you like something before you go invest large amounts of money into it is essential. Learn as much as you can for free. There's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, whatever it is. Learn for free until you realize, okay, this is something that I actually want to do to go invest a large amount of money on. Now, I'm not talking about the little $25 courses, the little $45 courses, even the $60 courses, whatever. Buy those. Buy as much as you want of them. You will be able to learn so much from people if you buy different ones and you can like piece them together, right? What I find is, like, from doing them myself, because I do also sell courses that you don't have to buy. I'm not trying to sell you a course, okay? Some are $50, some are $70, some are $100, some are $150, right? Those courses, I basically did the research for you. So there's sometimes you're watching YouTube, you kind of watch a couple videos to figure it out. But when you buy a course, you will notice that everything is outlined and condensed for you, so you can avoid having to really sit there and spiel, like run through everything. Like, they come with, like, mine come with material lists, a lot of them do, so you'll get the direct links for things. And it's not gatekeeping that people do on YouTube, it's just that people want to get paid for the information and knowledge, and I understand that, but to an extent, right? So I realized that when it comes to buying those courses, or those e-courses and stuff like that, I wouldn't consider those an investment. You spend $20 on food, you spend $50 on food. It's okay to do that. I'm talking about large investments. Like when I did my in-person seminar, it was $800, and I feel like those people who came actually knew they already wanted to be balloon artists. They weren't just like testing the waters to see something. They really wanted to be balloon artists and they wanted to learn, and I knew that because they weren't stupid. Like, going into a balloon course and you don't have an idea of anything, of even how to tie two balloons together, that's concerning. You don't need to pay $800 for a course. You didn't even do the groundwork first. So let's learn as much as we can for free. And in the same breath, if you come across a course that's something affordable to you, like $100, $50, even $100 is a little, like, if you don't know. But if it's like $50, you can do it. It's okay. I give you permission. Okay? Your balloon bestie gives you permission. Okay? Just, you can live a little. So the next thing I would say would be inquiries and contact forms. So you need a way to capture your inquiries. You need a way for people to contact you, right? I just added another line to my cell phone, and that's my business phone, so I don't mind putting that number on social media, on anything. I don't mind just giving it out because it's my business phone, right? It's not my personal number. So with that, I would say there's a lot of different things that you could use. You can use stuff like Google Forms. You could use, I think Instagram actually has like an inquiry form system that I haven't used, but that's all going to be a part of my rebrand, is figuring all of that out. If you have like a basic Shopify, you don't need a website. You don't need a website. If you do a website, I would say to do one of those like free ones where you could just insert your photos. But I promise you, nobody's clicking that website. People just want a contact form with all the general information that you have to offer them. If you want to make like a price guide, that's one thing. But even that, I would say don't even worry about in the beginning stages. I would say to more so focus on just capturing inquiries and giving people a way to contact you. Obviously, email, creating a separate email for your business is essential. And the phone line is something that's like a cheap alternative as well too. I like it because then people can just text me. And I also like it because here's a shady thing. You can actually keep all of your text messages, and then all those clients that, like, if they're annoying or they like to waste your time, there's a track record of it, so you can know when to start ignoring them. And you can know if they tried to cheapskate you the last time but then they ended up paying the full price. You already know their game. They're gonna ask, but you can still do the back and forth. But if you have a track record of somebody like continuously asking to like lower the price for something and then they never book, leave the people right where they're at. Okay, that's like a little hack with the text messages and email, because everything has a thread, and the DMs, everything. I don't take inquiries through DM because to me they just get lost very quickly, and I don't check Instagram enough for that. So they would just be sitting there. And I do have it on my page like saying that do not DM for inquiries, but people still do it. If it's something simple, I just respond to them and let them know. If not, then I redirect them to my phone number or my email or the contact form. So I did use Google Forms, but I don't like it. Right now I'm using 123 Form Builder, and I don't like it either. I think the only one that I actually like is Jotform. I just wanted to test out different things before I went ahead and paid something. So that's gonna bring me into the second to last topic, which is budgeting. So keeping track of the expenses, like I spoke about earlier, will really help you get an understanding of where your business is and where it's going, right? But the reason why you want to do that too is because it will also show you what you're actually using and what you're spending money on and what you're wasting money and time on. So there was things that I was using that I was paying for every month that I wasn't actually utilizing. So it's like keeping track of that, and you're like, damn, I spent $1,000 on this app for the year and I didn't even use it. All of that will help you keep track of things and like what you really need and what you don't really need, right? So I would say that would be a major thing, is to keep track of expenses. I said it probably 3 times in this video, so that should tell you. So last but not least, the final statement and step that you need to do is be consistent. I know that's everybody's annoying term that they hate hearing when it comes to you know, people like giving them advice when it comes to a business, but that's the only way. I ain't got nothing else for you. Be consistent with your work, in the sense of make sure that it's getting better and not worse. And make sure if you do a job one way this time, it can never go lower. It needs to go higher. So if you did florals and they look like shit, make sure you're evolving and it's getting better. You don't want to do florals really good one time and then that was it. No, it needs to be a continuous thing that we're doing and getting better. Same thing with balloons. Your work should be evolving and getting better. Like if I show you my work when I first started compared to now, it's a big difference. And that's how it should be. There should be no toss-up of it goes from this to this, then back to this. No, it needs to stay right here. Right here. Okay? Let's not let it move from there. So that would be like my top things for starting an event business. This is going to be a fun like series for me to jump back into YouTube with. So I do want people to give me suggestions for things they want to learn. Take a look on my Instagram, take a look at my TikTok, my social media. Let me know what tutorials you want to see. Let me know what you want to do, but you have to subscribe and like my video so I can know that you guys are actually watching and want to engage and want to see more from me on how I built my business. So this was fun and I feel like it was really informative. And thank you guys for watching if you made it to the end. Okay, If you didn't, then you didn't see this anyways. So I don't care. Peace. This will be the last time that I wear eyelashes to film anything because I already have a lazy eye and I feel like it's making it worse. So anyways, just try not to look at it. I keep looking at it. So I don't know how I'm gonna tell you guys stop looking at it.